In the world of retail, competition is cutthroat.
There's a jungle out there, and it's dangerous.
These entrepreneurs have big ambitions.
My dream is to see an Incredipop in every home in America.
So they've come to our investor and his team of experts for help.
I think she can take this retail opportunity and rock it.
They'll get quizzed by real consumers.
Why is this better than regular cookie dough?
And get feedback.
It's real pricey.
It just looks too generic.
And in the end, Joe and Joe alone decides if they will receive the backing of Hatched Business Solutions.
I think you have so much to offer, kid.
And a chance to change their lives forever. This week, a daring young entrepreneur who's created a new spin on an old staple
It's raw honey with different spice blends in them that you use for cooking.
is seeking financial backing and marketing advice from Hatched Business Solutions to launch his savory honey in stores across America. He's not short on confidence.
Get your parents' approval for these names?
I don't need parents' approval. They work for me.
But will the consumers embrace his new take on honey
If I saw it in the store, I wouldn't know what it was.
as he fights to prove his product is something people will need?
I really do believe in my product. Hopefully, this is going to be a yes.
But ultimately, will Joe be making him happy?
We have decided.
Our investor Joe has brought together his experts. Freddie Cameron is a retail expert with over 16 years of experience, responsible for over $2 billion in product sales. And Nicole Lappin is a New York Times best-selling author and one of the nation's top financial experts, anchoring financial news on CNBC, CNN, and Bloomberg.
All right, gentlemen, today is a very tasty category. I'm very excited. We're talking about condiments.
I'm just so happy my toenails are curling.
Here's what you should be happy about. It's a huge business. Are you seeing dollar signs? I know that's
Absolutely.
what really makes your toes curl.
You bet. Get this kid out here.
18-year-old Henry is seeking investment and marketing advice to turn his unique product into a household name.
Hi.
Welcome.
My name is Henry Miller. I'm 18 years old, and my company is Henry's Humdingers.
What is Henry's Humdingers?
It's raw honey with different spice blends in them that you use for cooking and baking. I have Phoebe's Fireball, which is chipotle and cinnamon, Grumpy Grandpa, which is red cayenne pepper and garlic, and then Diabolical Dad, which is habanero and lime.
How did you come up with those names?
They're all people that I know. I mean, I do have a Grumpy Grandpa because in the end, who doesn't?
Uh-oh. No.
I love that.
What's Humdingers?
Humdinger means the best of something. When we were trying to figure out what to name the product, Grumpy Grandpa said, you gotta try Henry's Humdingers, and we just kind of went with it.
I'm not a big fan of the name. I think it just needs to say exactly what it is.
The name is kind of a tongue twister. I mean, why humdingers? I think it should be straightforward, something that connects honey and spice together.
It's something I created when I was 12 years old, and I'm really just trying to get it out there.
How did you know how to create this when you were 12 years old?
I sat next to a beekeeper on a plane, and I learned about all this sorts of bee stuff from him and about honey. I asked my mom for a beehive for my 12th birthday, and she got me one. And after that, I had so much sweet honey, I didn't really know what to do with it. So I just started mixing spices with it. I just started selling it on the side of the road, and it just kind of sprouted up from there. And now we're in 300 plus stores, and we sell a lot online.
I'm impressed.
You're a gutsy kid. I admire this kid's courage for creating a new product. But if he wants my money, he's got to prove to me there's a market for savory honey.
Honey is a big thing right now, but I haven't seen a savory honey. Are you?
Well, you have now.
Well, now I have. My life is complete, Henry. Thank
I came
you.
to save the day.
But I don't think people instinctively know what to do with spicy honey.
Exactly.
How do you educate folks as to what to do when they buy it?
That is one of the main problems, because it is a new product. A lot of people don't necessarily know what it is. It's not meant to be eaten straight or meant to be put on just toast or something. It's meant to be used in a dish.
Yeah, that was just my biggest concern, is folks not understanding exactly the usage of the product.
You're creating a whole market. You
Yeah.
have to educate consumers.
Henry has come up with a really clever way to use honey in a non-traditional way, but he needs a strong marketing plan to help educate customers about his unique product.
So what is the price per jar?
The 13-ounce sells for $8.99, and the 6-ounce sells for $5.99.
Have you turned a profit yet?
We have not. And all the profits that we do get, we immediately invest back in the company.
How many employees do you have?
4.
Is that your family?
That's me, my mom, my dad, and a very close family friend.
Diabolical Dad works for you?
Yeah, he actually painted all the labels.
Your packaging needs a lot of work. You gotta have a nice package that really screams, I know exactly what that product is for.
The cartoons and the jars are cute, but it doesn't tell you that it's savory honey that's used for cooking. If consumers can't tell what it is, they're not gonna buy it.
How did you pay for starting a business?
Well, I didn't necessarily pay for starting the business. That would be my lovely parents.
Now you have to say that.
Well, I have to say that, otherwise they stop paying for the company. We've been doing trial and error with our own money for a while, and it's hard. And being partners with someone who knows what they're doing could help immensely.
What is it that you expect out of us? What are you looking for?
I need financing and exposure because it's a new category. It's very hard. And hopefully with the exposure, we can get people to start recognizing it. The goal is to have Henry's Humdingers on every table in America next to their salt and pepper as a staple that they would need in their household.
So can we taste it?
Of course you can.
Joe's mouth is watering.
Thank you.
Winner, kiddo.
This is good.
Thank you.
You're doing well.
Good job.
So I'll speak for the boys because their mouths are full. What we're gonna do tomorrow is set up a retail challenge for you. And this is where you'll be able to interact with consumers and really pitch your product. And we really wanna see what consumers say because we're gonna be looking over the consumer feedback and that's gonna help us make a decision.
Since Henry is creating a completely new type of product, the consumer feedback is vitally important to me as I make my decision whether to invest or not.
So good luck.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward to the retail challenge, but you can't help but be nervous. This opportunity could change my life.
Coming up, will Henry's savory honey have the consumers buzzing?
Delicious. That's really good.
Or will their feedback sting?
If I saw it in the store, I wouldn't know what it was.
Henry has created a one-of-a-kind savory honey, which he hopes to turn into a retail success. He got a ton of feedback from our retail expert, Freddie.
My biggest concern is folks not understanding the usage of the product.
But before our investor Joe decides if he's going to financially back his business, he needs to hear from potential customers. So today, Henry will have to pitch his honey to over 100 consumers, who will give their feedback in a survey, which will be analyzed closely by Nicole and Freddie before Joe makes his final decision.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
What is this?
This is my company, Henry's Humdingers. This is raw honey with different spice blends in them. You can use it for baking, grilling, cooking.
The thing I need to see today with Henry's Humdingers is whether or not consumers are really interested in the savory honey.
Raw honey with spices in it.
By looking at it and by tasting it, would you know what to do with it? And how to-
Honestly, honey, always use it for teas. There's been times where I've bought things like this, but it's the thing, okay, now what do I do with it? What do I serve it with?
You could use it on chicken. You can use it in all sorts of recipes. It's not meant to be used just like regular honey. It's meant to expand the uses of honey.
It kind of showed you that honey can be used for a lot of different dishes.
I don't think anybody's mixed different seasonings.
Well, I mean, I did. So there's a first for everything.
This is really cool.
The good news is that customers like the idea of using savory honey. But let's see if they feel the same way about the taste.
Well, you guys can try it and tell me what you think about it.
Am I gonna like it?
Of course you're gonna like it.
Is it hot?
These sound like questions.
Delicious. That's really good.
I thought all it would taste was honey, but I was actually amazed.
It has like a special kick to it. I don't like honey, but this is really good.
Henry's savory honey seems to be hitting the sweet spot with most consumers, but the spicy kick is missing the mark with some.
I don't like the honey. Sorry.
Was it too spicy for you, or
It was like sweet at first, and then it started to get to like this spicy.
Good spicy or bad?
For me, it was bad spice, but people that like spice would probably be good spice.
That was a polite way of saying no. I feel great. It's a lot of energy. People are walking around. People are trying the honey. My goal when I meet someone that I'm trying to sell my product to, try to make them laugh.
Diabolical dad. You get your parents' approval for these names?
I don't need parents' approval. They work for me.
Okay, well, he's a entrepreneur in the house.
I'm trying to make them have a good time. Then they're going to say, oh, yeah, I'll try it.
Actually, it is good.
You sound surprised.
I am.
Well, yeah.
Honey doesn't taste this way, and you made it so good.
A product's name is a crucial part of branding. Henry's Humdingers isn't memorable, and it doesn't make you think of honey. Let's see if consumers agree with me or with Henry.
Okay, so these are called humdingers.
When you first read it or first look at it, it's a funny name.
Henry Humdinger?
It's nice.
What's the name of it?
The honey,
Henry Humdingers. That doesn't go with honey.
Humdinger means the best of something.
I forgot his name. He has a long name to it.
I should definitely have an easier brand name to remember.
Seems Henry has major issues with his name. Will his packaging choice also come back to sting him?
There's been a lot of feedback about my labels.
This is the label.
Yeah, those are the labels.
I wouldn't know if it was honey.
That is a problem we've been having.
This doesn't really make sense to me because we're not really sure what this is.
If I saw it in the store, I wouldn't know what it was.
You look at my labels, you see a trumpet and you see the Eiffel Tower and you think, what is it? It's made me really try to think how I brand my product.
If it was on the shelf, I wouldn't know what it is.
I was concerned about his label, and clearly the consumers agree. So he really needs to make a change if he wants to succeed in retail.
As consumers fill out their surveys, Henry's confidence seems to be waning.
I am concerned about tomorrow. I didn't only just get good reviews today, I got some bad reviews. Some people straight up didn't like it, and if the panel listens to those reviews, then I could be in trouble.
Consumers really decide the success of any product. So the survey results will be a big part of my decision whether to invest or not.
It's time for the Hatched Pop Quiz. How much honey is consumed in the U.S. annually? A, 8 million pounds. B, 100 million pounds. C, 450 million pounds. Find out the answer when we return to Hatched. Before the break, we asked, how much honey is consumed in the U.S. annually? A, 8 million pounds. B, 100 million pounds. C, 450 million pounds. The answer is C. Total U.S. honey consumption is estimated at 450 million pounds per year. That's 1.3 pounds per person. Henry came to Hatch Business Solutions looking for an investment and marketing advice to turn his one-of-a-kind product into a national brand. He faced the ultimate retail challenge.
I feel great. Just giving out my honey, getting the positive reviews, that's what I live for.
But will the consumer survey results be strong enough to help convince our investor Joe his product is worthy of financial backing?
All right, guys, we have the survey results in for Henry's Humdingers. Some of it's sweet, some of it a little bit sour. You ready to bring them in?
Right. Absolutely.
Oh, look at you, Mr. Dapper.
Hello.
Hello, Henry. You look great.
Thank you. You do too?
Oh, you slick little devil.
Is this what you wore to your retail challenge?
Yes.
How'd it go?
It went great. A lot of people said they loved the flavors, and some people had a little bit of problems with their labels, but other than that, it was mostly positive feedback.
Are you ready to hear your survey results?
I am.
Okay. The most troubling survey result was that only 30% of people knew they could use honey like this.
Raw honey with spices in it.
What do I do with it? What do I serve it with?
You have a long way to go in terms of education for this type of savory honey.
Well, one of the biggest problems we have had was that it's something that really hasn't been done before, so education is still our #1 problem.
When the consumers were asked, do you like the packaging? Over 70% said they do like your packaging, but I've been in retail for over 16 years. You need to change your packaging in order to drive more sales.
We did hear a lot of people say that.
I wouldn't know if it was honey.
If I saw it in the store, I wouldn't know what it was.
The packaging, we do think, does need to be changed. The results did confirm how I felt about the labels. Granted, 70% isn't a low number, but when you're in school, that's a C. That's why even last night, my father actually did start mocking up new packaging designs that could help us show more what the product is.
It's great that you've already taken the initiative. In terms of your name, Henry, I know it was a recommendation from your grandfather.
Yeah, the Henry's Humdingers.
Only 60% of people liked your name. That's way lower than we like to see.
Okay, so these are called humdingers.
That doesn't go with honey.
I should definitely have an easier brand name to remember.
Are you married to the name?
I am attached to the name for sentimental reasons. My grandfather created the name, and he died of cancer last year. So no matter what, I feel that that's gotta stay. I would like to keep in consideration all the work we have put in towards growing this brand and the name Henry's Humdingers.
I understand his sentimental thing with his name, but if he's asking us for guidance, then he needs to be willing to listen to what we have to say.
The most encouraging statistic from the consumers is that 90% of people love the taste.
That's really good. Yeah, delicious.
So you really have that going for you. All of these other things can be changed. You have a great product under that hood.
You've done a lot of great things building this product line to where it is right now. Before I make my final decision to convince me why I should put money in your product.
The biggest thing for me is I really do believe in my product. The main trouble that I have been having is I'm 18. My parents didn't start in this field. We do need guidance, and we're fully willing to admit that. You're investing in me. You're investing in my parents who've fought with me this entire journey to get it here. And hopefully, this is gonna be a yes.
Well, Joe likes to invest in people, so we are gonna talk about you behind your back and come back to you with a final decision.
I'm just like, heart's beating. I'm trying to stay calm. You get 1,000 no's before you get one yes. Hopefully this is the one yes.
It's time for Joe to consult with his experts before he makes his final decision.
Investing in a new product category is always risky. So this deliberation is going to be a tough one. All right, guys, let's talk about Henry's Humdingers.
I think it's a great item. And who knew that you can use honey in all those different ways? But my concern is, how do we educate consumers on what to do with that item?
I think it's going to take a lot of marketing help to make consumers believe this is something they know what to do with. It's not intuitive in the same way as we would use normal honey.
I think that message is lost on the overall package. So he literally would not only have to change his package, he would have to demonstrate the product in every retail store to really get consumers to really see exactly what that product is used for.
But once we hone that, I think there's a great opportunity for him. Honey is riding a huge macro trend of being in demand with probiotic honey and other healthy uses for honey.
All right, I've heard you both, and I appreciate your sage advice, and I have a decision.
Coming up.
This could be one of the biggest decisions of my life at this point.
After careful deliberation, we have decided
Henry came to Hatch Business Solutions in the hopes of turning his unique savory honey into a household name. At the Retail Challenge, the consumers thought his new take on honey was the bee's knees.
Actually, it is good.
You sound surprised.
I am.
But our investor and his experts have some major concerns.
It's going to take a lot of marketing help to make consumers believe this is something they know what to do with.
And now, it's decision time. Has Henry done enough to secure an investment to turn his product into a national brand?
This could possibly be one of the biggest decisions about my business and my life at this point. I am dying to hear the news, but at the same time, I'm worried.
Well, Henry, my young lad, here you are. You are to be commended for what you've done with your product to this point. But there are some things you have to do to get that product ready for it to really fly. So here's the decision. We'd like to bring you to Hatched Business Solutions and help you do all of that, son. Bring this product home for yourself, for your mom, for your dad. Congratulations, you did a great job.
Thank you so much. My heart's actually beating really fast right now.
This is changing my life in the sense that I don't have to do everything. My parents don't have to do everything. And they've done so much for me. I really want this to work out so I can do something for them.
Thank you.
You have an awesome story, and I love the way your family supports your product. Our job now is to make the world love your product.
I think it's about making Henry's Humdingers the buzzy product, no pun intended, that you want it to be. And we can help you do that with our access and our resources. So welcome to the family.
I'm very happy.
Bring your bad self up here and shake my hand.
I'd be honored. Thank you.
Congratulations, young man.
I've had a lot of doors slammed in my face. I've been counted out a lot of times because people didn't get spicy honey. But now I just got my one yes.